Lupin Pharmaceuticals in association with Higher Secondary Principals Forum.
Hello students, and a warm welcome to this class of Business Studies of Standard 12. At the outset, I would like to appreciate and express my gratitude to the Headmasters Principals Forum along with Prudent Media and Lupin for taking this initiative of e-learning. And I hope that it achieves its objective of reaching out to you students in this situation. So students, I'm here to take up the class of Business Studies. I am teacher Annette Lobo. I teach Business Studies at St. Xavier's High Secondary School, Mapsa. So I welcome you once again to this class of Business Studies. I will be taking up the first chapter in the syllabus. So let us begin, students. The first chapter is Nature and Significance of Management. This chapter will comprise the meaning of management and many other terms, interesting terms which you are about to learn. So students, I expect you to keep a book at your disposal so that you can take down some keywords and points as you go through this session. So after studying this chapter, you should be able to understand the concept of management, the objective of management. You will also understand to explain why management is considered important in the organization. You will be able to comprehend and explain the nature of management as art, science and profession. You will also be able to identify and explain the different levels of management that exist in the organization and the importance of coordination in management. And last of all, we will cover the functions of management in this chapter. Moving on, students, let us get started. I have before you a very interesting story on the management of HCL. As you know, HCL is an enterprise who is a leader in global technology and IT services. The CEO of this company, the earlier CEO Shiv Nadar, once stated that he attributed the success of the enterprise to the management team, to his employees, and the manner in which they were able to cope with the rapid changes in technology and convert the challenges to different opportunities. We must also understand that HCL is successful because the management believes that a satisfied employee will create a satisfied customer who in turn will create profits for the shareholders. HCL also is known to have a great sense of social responsibility. It has set up several educational institutions in the field of engineering, in the field of management, computer education, and very important, students, in all these institutions, you will find 1/3 of the students are girls. Very interesting story, students, of management of HCL and how it has managed to succeed in this field of competitive world. Take a look at this very interesting slide, students. I have before you the CEOs of very successful companies. Just a few that I have taken up. At the top I have here, I'm sure you will identify him. He's none other than Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google. We also have Satya Nadella, who is the CEO of Microsoft. At the other end, we have the CEO of Amul, our very own, the Taste of India, Mr. R.S. Sodhi. Not to forget the very successful Patanjali Group, the CEO Acharya Balakrishnan. These are all successful organizations. What about HelpAge India? It is an NGO, yet it is so well organized. Well, students, the success of all these enterprises, be it a profit-making organization or a non-profit making organization, have the presence of management in it, which brings about the success of their institutions or organizations. So I want you to understand that be it a school, be it a hospital, be it a company or an NGO, any large scale organization or a small scale organization, they have the presence of management that helps them to achieve their goals and be successful. So having understood that the success of the enterprise depends heavily on the management, let us now proceed into understanding the meaning of the term management. So I have here before you the meaning of the term management. This comes for 1 mark objective type of question. Okay? For the board exam, it has come many times. Let me read out and explain to you the meaning of this term management. So management is a process of getting things done with the aim of achieving goals effectively and efficiently. There is another statement that I like to highlight here, students. It is an art of getting things done through others to achieve the goals of the organization effectively and efficiently. As you observe on the slide, students, take a note closely. I have highlighted certain words in this slide, and I am going to explain these terms which are very important in management. So let us understand clearly once more the meaning of management. Like I said, I am repeating. Management means the art of getting things done from others with the aim of achieving the goals of the organization effectively and efficiently. Moving on to understanding the meaning of these 3 words. So here we are. Let us understand the meaning of process. Now, process refers to the primary function of management that is constantly performed to get things done. How will you manage an activity? A student will manage his time. A teacher manages a class. A manager manages his department and the work in his organization. So the best way to handle and manage our work is to plan, to organize ourselves. In the organization, we will involve in staffing, directing and also controlling. So these functions are constantly performed by the manager so that he can accomplish the goals. So management is a process. But I want you to pay attention now very carefully to these 2 words. What is it to be effective in a management? Tomorrow, you are going to be successful CEOs and managers of very huge companies. So let me make that understanding to you. What is it to be effective in a management? Now, effectiveness means completing the task or the activity in the appropriate time. I repeat, completing the task or the activity in the appropriate time. Now, it is very important to be effective in an organization. I will give you an example to help you understand what is the meaning of effectiveness in an organization. So let us say you have been given the task of production of 1000 units for the month. In doing so, the target is to complete the task in the month assigned to you. At the end of the month, if you did not accomplish the 1000 units production, then you are considered to be ineffective. Now, is this important in the organization? Yes, completing task in time is very important. And if you can do that, then you are called to be effective in management. Now moving on to the next term of efficiency, students. Efficiency, what does that mean in management? Well, being efficient means completing the task with minimum cost, less wastages so that your profitability increases, your output increases. So efficiency is concerned with completion of task with minimum cost, using less resources. In a management, it is very important to be efficient. I will give you an example to help you understand how you can be efficient in the organization. Going back to the example, suppose you have been told to produce 1000 units in 1 month. You may complete that target by wasting resources or adding to the cost, maybe hiring more laborers, and that would increase your cost of wages. So any sort of increase in the cost, you are not being efficient. You may complete it in the month. You may complete your production and be effective, but it is of no use to be effective and indulge in this sort of wastage of resources, and hence you would be classified as inefficient. So in a management, we need to create a balance between both being effective and being efficient. Both are required for the success of the enterprise. So being effective, students, means once again completing the task in the required time, whereas being efficient means completing the task in time with least amount of resources. So by increasing efficiency, we are saving time and money, and both are important. Like I said, students, efficiency is important for profitability, while effectiveness is important for the growth of the organization. Now let us move ahead to the next subtopic, which is objectives of management. Now look at the slide, students. It clearly states here what is the objective of management. The objective of management can be classified into 3. We will take each one up separately. Let us state what are the objectives of management. It is organizational objective, social objective, and personal objective. So let us take each of this one by one to understand what these objectives imply in management. Here we go, organizational objective. Now organizational objectives are concerned with prosperity and growth of the organization, students. Every organization will aim to fulfill the interest of its employees, its shareholders, and society at large. If you thought that the organization only aims to make profit, then that is just one aspect of its objective. So let us understand what is the meaning of organizational objectives. Organizational objectives, students, are concerned with the prosperity and growth of the organization. So if you thought that every organization only aims to make profit, then it is considered as one aspect of the organizational objectives. Let us understand what are the 3 different aspects of the organizational objectives. The organizational objectives are survival, profit, and growth. What does it mean to survive? The term profit and growth in the organization. Now take note, students. This question comes for the board exam. It has come many times. I'll give you an example of the question. It has been asked to state and explain the organizational objective. Or you may have a question where you are asked to explain the term survival, profit, and growth. All right. So moving on to understanding the meaning of these terms. Survival means making a place for your organization in the market and overcoming competition. See, that is the primary objective actually of the company. If you don't overcome the competition, if you don't survive the competition, then you cannot proceed to make profit. So the very first objective of the organization is to survive in the market. Survival will happen when you earn sufficient revenue to cover the cost that you are incurring. So basically it is a time frame that you are crossing where you are overcoming competition by earning sufficient revenue to cover the cost that you are incurring. So it is a condition where there is no profit, no loss. You are surviving in the market. Once you cross over this phase, students, that's when you move into the next objective, which is profit. So what is profit? It is considered as a reward for the risk undertaken by the businessman. I repeat, it is the reward for risk undertaken by the businessman. It helps you to cover the cost and risk in business, and it is required to maintain continuity in business. Now, once we finished achieving our objective of profit, we then move on to the growth aspect in our company. So what is this growth aspect, students? Growth means adding new ventures to our existing organization. It also could imply the expansions that we may have in our business. Now, expansions can be measured in a certain way. We can see the expansion of the organization in the following examples. Growth can be measured as, suppose you have increased number of employees. Earlier you had 500 workers. Now you are having, after 3-4 years, let us say 1,000 workers. What does this go to show? That your company has progressed. It has grown in the operations. You have moved from 500 employees to 1,000 employees in the company, showing growth. Growth can also be measured by the number of branches that you have increased. Earlier you started with one branch, one setup, and today after 5 years you have 3 or 4 units or 4 setups. What does this imply? It means that your business is growing. Also, you can measure growth in the terms of sales volume. Earlier you were earning a certain amount of output, and now you are increased in volumes. So these are some examples that I have given to explain to you how growth can be measured in a company. So now moving on to the next objective of management, and that is social objective. What is social objective and why social objective? Let us take the first part, students. What is social objective? It involves creation for the benefit of society. It involves fulfilling your social obligation, your social responsibility to the society. That is what social obligation is about. It is fulfilling your social responsibility and creating benefits for society. Now understand, why should a management be concerned about social objective? Well, keep in mind, students, every organization is using and benefiting from the resources of the society. The company uses the resources of the society in order to earn its profits. So it is obligation that they return some benefit to the society. In fact, in our country, we also have the CSR Act, which has been implemented, the Corporate Social Responsibility Act, and we see that companies today are indulging in a lot of social activities. So once again, let us understand the term social objective means creation for the benefits of society. Let me give you some examples once more of social objective. It involves using environmental methods of production, giving employment opportunities to the disadvantaged sections of the society. You may be providing schools, creches to employees. Now a creche is a place where you keep your small children and you can still continue to work. Big pharmaceutical companies tend to take up this facility for the benefit of their employees. Even providing job opportunities for certain sections of the society will be considered as social obligation. You may also be giving scholarships, maybe providing some benefits to for the education of girl child. All this will be classified as social objective. Now, how does this question come for the board exam? So far, it has come to either explain the meaning of social objective. It has also come as giving you a a particular example and asking you to identify which objective is being fulfilled. For example, if a company is reserving a seat for physically challenged person, then which objective is being fulfilled? The answer would be social objective. So I will move on to the next part. Here I have an example of Tata Group of Company fulfilling its social objective. If you see here and read further, I have highlighted the summary of the gist of it. Through the self-help groups, Tata Group of Companies engaged in women empowerment activities, income generation, rural community development and other social welfare programs. So all this, students, also comes under social objective. Healthcare projects may be facilities like child education, immunization, creation of awareness of certain diseases like AIDS or any other disease. You may be also providing sports, scholarships, hospitals, research centers, sports academies, all these come under social objective. So I hope you have understood so far. We have finished with organizational objective, social objective, and now moving on to the next, which is personal objective. So here you go, students. Personal objective is referred to as individual objective. Now every employee in the organization joins to satisfy his or her own need or objective. Each person who joins the company has his or her own interest in that. Let us understand what is personal objective and why is management concerned about fulfilling these personal objectives. So personal objectives are individual objectives. It is related to every employee's objective in the organization. Coming to why personal objective, every employee becomes a part of the organization to satisfy his or her own needs, like I said. So you may have different needs as an employee. You may have a need to satisfy your salary, job security. People join for different reasons. Okay? Everyone doesn't join for only salary. Some may join for reputation. Some may join the organization because they feel their status is fulfilled. Some people would join an organization because of the facilities that are provided to the employees of that organization. So salary is not the only objective and the reason why people join an organization. So why is management concerned about your personal objective, students? Well, I want you to understand as managers that like HCL believes that a satisfied employee will in turn bring about a satisfied customer. Students, that is the bottom line. If you are a satisfied employee in the company, you will automatically contribute to the well-being and to the goals of the company. But as an individual, you must understand that if you do not contribute your best to the organization and you don't give your 100%, then the company will not achieve its objective. If the company doesn't achieve its objective, how will your needs be fulfilled? So as an individual, we must understand that the task of management is to integrate personal objective with organizational objective. It is a fact of bringing about harmony in the organization. You exist because the company exists, and hence your needs are fulfilled when the company will progress. So company will always try to satisfy your needs so that if you are satisfied, you will give your best to the company. Now moving to the examples, in the next slide, a summary placed before you. Some personal objective examples are salary, job security, peer recognition, perks and benefits. Perks are nothing but, students, the additional benefits that you get at a workplace. Traveling allowance, maybe some healthcare facilities. You may also join an organization for status or your personal growth and development. Now students, let us move to the next part of this chapter. We have understood the meaning of management, the objectives of management. Now we're coming to the very important part to understand why management is important. Now this can be explained by covering up these 5 points. Okay? Let us take each one and understand individually these points. So why is management important? First of all, management is important because it helps to achieve group goals. To achieve group goals. Now, as I said, in the company there are many employees who are working. They are different individuals. Your task as a management is to integrate, to combine the efforts of individuals and give it a common direction towards the organizational goals. Your task is to merge and to combine their efforts and direct it towards the goal of the company. Secondly, management is important because it helps us to achieve and increase our efficiency. As we learned earlier, efficiency means to complete the task by using minimum resources and keeping the wastages reduced. So how can you be efficient as a management? Well, you can be efficient if you perform the functions of management constantly in a better way. So you have to plan better, organize, staff, direct and control your activities such that you will be able to be efficient. If you find that you are inefficient, then your task is to rethink the whole process so that you become more efficient in the organization. Moving to the third point, students, helps to create a dynamic organization. Take a look at that word dynamic, students. What does that mean in the company? Dynamic in management means constantly changing environment situations. We know that there are a lot of changes that keep occurring. Does it affect our business? Yes. Changes can be external changes or internal changes in our organization. But keep in mind one thing, students, when there is a change implemented in the organization, then there is every possibility that employees resist change. They do not accept that change easily. Why? Because they are filled with fear, with anxiety. They have a lot of questions and doubts in their mind whether they will be able to cope with changes. So what is the task of management? The task of management is to be able to help the employees to cope with the change. That's what covers and helps in creating a dynamic organization. So dynamic means a constantly changing environment, and management is helping employees to cope with changes. How can you help employees to accept change? Well, that can be done if you motivate your employees, you indulge in training them, you give them the confidence that they can carry out their work. By doing so, you are in a way helping them to accept changes. Currently, we are facing a massive change, isn't it? Today, I am here before a screen teaching you students at large. This is a change due to COVID situations. This is an external change. Does it affect our internal working? Very much, students. As you can see, we have adopted to e-learning. This is a new change. How can management help the employees cope with this situation? That is by training, by motivating, encouraging your employees to accept this form of learning and still progress ahead. So moving on to the fourth point, students. Management also is important because it helps us to achieve our personal objective and helps in the development of, fifth point, the development of society. As we have already discussed, management will help to reconcile, will help you to merge your personal objective with the organization. Individuals are joining the company for his or her own needs, to fulfill salary, to fulfill status. The task of your management is to merge and combine your personal objectives with organizational objectives. How does the management help in the development of society? We have already covered that. But just going through it again, it is helping to fulfill your social obligation. If you produce good quality products at reasonable prices, then you are being effective as a management and you are helping to develop society. and also providing different benefits to society. Why? Because you are using the resources of the society. Now, having said that, let us understand what is the nature of management. It's just trying to understand what is the similarity between the concept of management and that of art, science and profession. We will take each one up separately, students. I'd like to draw your attention to the slide. Once again, nature of management can be management as an art, management as a science, management as a profession. How does this come for the board exam generally? So far we have had questions which have come separately, students. Explain the reasons why management is considered as an art, or explain the reasons why management is considered a science, or give reasons and explain why management is considered as a profession. Alright, so moving on to the first one. So students, let us understand the concept of management as an art. We want to understand the similarities between the concept of management and that of art. What is art? Art is a skillful application of existing knowledge. Art can be expressed in different forms. When we think of the word art, different forms of art come to our mind, like drawing, painting, music, dancing, acting, and so on. So let us understand what is the relation of management or similarity of the concept of management with that of art. And here we have 3 points. First one, existence of theoretical knowledge. Second, based on practice and creativity. And third, personalized application. So let us take each point, students, separately. So existence of theoretical knowledge, what does this mean? Well, like any form of art which can be acquired, students. Can I be a dancer? Can I be a singer? Can I go to formal training? Yes. Can you become an artist? Yes. You can go and join a music school at any time to learn the art of music. You can go and join a dance school to learn the art of dance. You can go and join fine arts if you would like to progress in the field of fine arts. So any form of art can be acquired. There is a lot of literature available. As you can see, art can be acquired and there is a lot of literature available. Now when you write this answer, make sure that you first state what is the concept of art, and then in the second paragraph you may draft the similarity of management as that art. So management has existence of theoretical knowledge. Is management like an art? Yes. Management is an art. We said it in the meaning itself. It is the art of getting things done from others. Can you acquire the skill of management? Very much. You can go to formal schools and colleges where today there are degree programs available in different fields of management, be it management in HR, human resource management, be it management of finance, be it sales and marketing, in which you can acquire a degree. So there is a lot of literature and matter that is available in art as well as in management, and therefore this point is similar between management and art. Existence of theoretical knowledge based on practice and creativity. Now, if you look at these pictures here, I am sure you will identify them distinctly. What you can see here is different musicians, right? You identified them already. Let me name them. A.R. Rahman, then you have Ustad Amjad Ali Khan, and you have also Badshah there, Honey Singh there. What is the common thread between all of them is music. They all have acquired the skill of music. They all know to play music. They all know what music means. But what is different from each of them is the manner in which they apply that particular skill. A.R. Rahman's music is way different to what Badshah or Honey Singh would apply. Already you may be getting some tunes in your mind, students, but that is the fact. Each of them have applied their acquired skills to create their own styles of expressing their art. So that is art, students. Art, whatever we acquire, we express it in our own style. And what do we use to express it? Our practice and our creativity. Whatever we acquired, we express it through our practice and creativity. We apply our creativity to handle that particular art. What about management? Well, management is also considered as an art for this very reason. No two managers are the same. You may acquire the degree of management, but the way you handle the organization will be very different from the friend of yours who also is a management degree holder. So you both have acquired, you and your friend have acquired management degrees. But tomorrow if you are managers in different companies, you will handle the acquired knowledge in a different way. You will apply it differently in the organization. That is through your practice and through your creativity. So take note of the key words in this answer. No two artists are same, so also no two managers are the same. They use their experience and their creativity to create their own styles of management. Right now, let's move on to the next point. Personalized application. Look at the slide, students. As you can see to the corner, the image. Interesting. I'm sure you are smiling and you have already identified. It is the very famous dancers and the winners of some very famous competitions on the channels. Shakti Mohan, Dharmesh and the very talented Raghav. When you think of Raghav, you think of his slow motion dance. When you think of Dharmesh, you know it is hip hop. And when you think of Shakti, you can already picturize her skill of contemporary or classical form. What I want to try and tell you, students, is that all of these have the skill of dancing, but they use their own skill to create their own personal way, their own styles. Okay? And so also, if you look at this end, managers will be using their acquired knowledge, their experiences to handle different situations in the organizations. They create their own ways of handling different situations. So the demonstration will vary from one person to another. No two persons will be demonstrating their skill in the same manner. So I hope you have understood the similarity between the concept of management and that of art. So moving on to management as a science. Why is management considered as a science? Because of these three reasons. Science is considered, when you think of science, look at that word science, students, and focus on that. What is science all about? Well, what comes to our mind? Formulas, experiments, right? Maybe some facts, and all these conclusions that come to our mind draw us that science is a systematic body of knowledge. It is based on facts, right? Is management a science? In a way it is, because systematized body of knowledge means finding the relation between cause and effect. You are always trying to find out reasons for the situations and trying to find the relation, what will be the effect of those situations. In management also, we are always trying to understand the cause and effect of relations between employees and organization and their work in the company. Moving on to formed by experimentations. Well, scientific principles Coming to one example, students, gravitational force. Did Newton just derive that particular concept overnight? Definitely not. He conducted several experiments, and that's when he drew the conclusion of gravitational force. So scientific principles are formed after several experiments. What about management principles? Well, even in management principles, there are many management philosophers who have framed different guidelines, different principles after several experimentations. Thirdly, universal applicability. Well, universal applicability, the key word here means that just like the concepts of science are universally valid, they are accepted worldwide. An example of gravitational force that I gave you is a concept in science which is accepted in India or America or be it Japan, anywhere. It is accepted worldwide. Right, students? What about the concepts of management? Are they accepted worldwide? Very much. In the next chapters, you will learn about principles of management and get an idea about how these principles are accepted worldwide. It is framed by different management philosophers. Therefore, we conclude that management has the element of science in it. However, students, we cannot call it an exact science because science outcomes are very definite. We know for sure the end result. But when it comes to management, the outcome cannot be determined as fixed. For simple reasons is that we are dealing with human beings and human behavior is unpredictable, totally unpredictable. The manner in which your employees function will be very different. You may expect them to work in a particular manner, but we cannot be assured and guaranteed that that will be the definite outcome. Therefore, we say that management is a kind of an inexact science. However, from the board exam point of view, this question has come several times. And how is it asked? Explain management, reasons why management is considered as a science. Moving on to the next concept, we have to explain why management is considered as a profession. Now, what is profession? Concentrate on that word profession. Profession means a specialized skill in any area of work. You can name a few professions. Yes, correct. A doctor, a lawyer, these are professionals. A chartered accountant, an architect is a professional. Is management a profession? Let us try to see and understand whether it has some similarities. Now let us students understand the similarity between the concept of management and profession. So the word profession, when you concentrate and focus on that word profession, we understand that profession means a specialized skill in any area of work. Can you name some professions, students? Yes, you're right. Doctors, lawyers, chartered accountants, architects, they all come, teachers will classify as professionals. So is management a profession? Let us understand if there is a similarity between these two concepts. So moving to the first point, well-defined body of knowledge. Profession can be acquired. You can join a professional institution and acquire that skill of a profession. You can become a doctor by going to a medicine college. You can become an engineer by joining an engineering college. Can management be acquired also, students? Yes. You can enroll yourself for management degree programs like BBA or an MBA. And there is a well-defined body of knowledge that you can acquire from it. So there is a similarity in these terms. What about restricted entry? Now this point would imply that entry to any profession is restricted through an entrance exam. So if you want to join medicine or engineering, we know that you have to complete your NEET exams. Is this kind of similar to a management concept? Yes. If you want to join any particular field of management, Let us say you want to do management MBA or a BBA, you have to answer certain entrance exams applicable like UGAT or CAT. These are certain exams that you need to clear in order to enroll yourself in these degree programs. So again, there is a similarity between the concept of management and profession. And restricted entry would imply that you need to answer some entrance exams in order to enroll yourself in that profession or that management degree program. What about service motive? Well, any profession, the objective is to provide some service. A doctor is giving you some advice, some service. His intention is to see that you are fit physically and your health. A lawyer is giving you some advice. He is helping you to overcome your legal issues. Are managers giving you some sort of benefit? Well, yes, they are providing benefit to the society by producing good quality products and services at reasonable prices. What about professional association? So, management and any other profession. Now, for a profession like medicine or let us say law, they have certain associations which are formed and you need to enroll in those associations compulsorily. However, there are such associations formed in management as well, like the All India Management Association. But students, it's not compulsory that to be a manager you have to be a part of the association. Unlike other professions like medicine or law, where you need to enroll yourself in these associations because the association gives you certain certifications so that you can begin your practice. So, I would say this particular concept or this particular point is not similar between management and profession. Now, moving to the last point, ethical code of conduct. It is nothing but a code of conduct that is laid down in any profession, students. Every particular profession functions with a certain manner of behavior expected from those professionals, right? So, the association is going to lay down those guidelines which are to be followed by the professionals. So, there is an ethical code of conduct when it comes to medicine, law. Is there such kind of ethical code of conduct for managers? Well, again, it is not compulsory, but there are certain guidelines laid out, but not compulsory, and there is no such formal code of conduct which is laid down for management. So, in the last 2 points we saw that there is not much closeness or similarity between those two concepts of management and profession, but in the first 3 points the concepts were more closer in similarity. Well defined body of knowledge, restricted entry and service motive. So, with that students, we have understood what is the nature of management, that is as art, science and profession. So, what do we conclude? That management may not be a full-fledged profession at the moment. In due course maybe, but as of now it is not a full-fledged profession. How does this come for the exam? So far questions have come where they have asked you to explain, give reasons why management is considered as a profession, and then you can apply any of these points. So, moving on to the next subtopic, students. Here we have the different levels of management. Now, students, there are different employees in the organization, many employees, right? There are many people working in the company. Each of these individuals who are working have certain authority and responsibility that is assigned to each one of them. Not everyone have the same authority. All of them are not having the same powers. Neither all of them have the same responsibility. So, each individual is working as per his authority and responsibility, and this gives rise to this called as a hierarchical structure in the company, which we call as the levels of management. We can classify these employees, we can categorize them into 3 parts based on the amount of authority and responsibility that each one share. So, looking at this particular diagram, if you look at it closely, students, there are 3 levels of management: the top level management, the middle level management, the supervisory or the operational level management. So, to the other end, you will see what are the designations that each of these levels are titled as, and to my left of this particular chart, I have just given a gist of a few of the duties or functions that each of these levels perform, distinctly perform. So, top level, see students, in this triangle, they are at the top and they are called as the top level management. They are referred to as CEO, Chairman, President, Vice President, Board of Directors, Managing Director in the company. These are some of the terms that we refer to as the top management. What are the duties of the top level management, students? Top is the head right here. So, they are the ones who think for the company. They are the ones who give direction to the company. They frame policies, they analyze situations, they take decisions for the company. They interact with their third parties on behalf of the company. That is the role performed by top level management. How can this question come for the board exam? I may give you an example. Let us say Raman retired from the company as a CEO. At which level was he working? The answer, top level management. Or I could ask you a question, state the duties or the functions of top level management. Then you must write what duties they perform, which I have already mentioned. They analyze, they frame policies, they give direction, they control the activities, and overall welfare of the organization lies with the top level management. Now, if you look at this middle portion, exactly, it is called as the middle level management. Now, the middle level management, students, we refer to them in the organization as divisional heads, plant superintendents, managers of different departments. For example, you may be a sales manager, a marketing manager, a production manager, an accounts manager, then you are in the middle level management. You as in the middle level management act as a link between top level and the supervisory level management. So, the middle level management has this task of acting as a link between top management and middle level management. Distinct functions are, they will interpret the policies of the top management to the operational level management. They will inform, they will tell, they will explain what policies are framed by top management, how it is going to get implemented here through the directions of the middle level management. So, they will assign duties, they will interpret these policies, they will also do things like recruitment, selection, training of employees constantly. Now, why this is done? In order to ensure that the policies that are framed are being carried out. If there are any difficulties faced by the supervisory level management, then they convey it to the top level management. And at the same time, they perform the role of conveying the policies of top level management to the supervisory level management. So, I hope you are clear with the functions of top level management and middle level management. Moving on, students, to the third level. The third level is called as supervisory level or operational level management. You can also refer to it as lower level management. Please note, don't say low level. It is not low level, students. We would call it either lower level management, preferably supervisory or operational level management. So, as you can see, this is the third and the last level of management. It is here that a lot of responsibility is laid. There is lesser authority in this level as compared to this top level. Top level have more power, more authority, more power in the organization to take decisions, whereas authority is less over here. Here, this is the place or this is the level where the actual work actually takes place, workforce. You can consider them as the hands in your company who are going to actually perform the work for you in the organization. So what are they referred to in the company? They are referred to as a foreman or supervisor. What are the duties of the operational level? They maintain the quality standards, they maintain the outputs, they ensure that they are training their workers from time to time. If there are any difficulties that they encounter, the workers encounter, then it is the job of the operational heads to convey the grievances to the middle level management. They will ensure that wastages are minimized and safety standards are maintained for employees. So these are just some listed duties. There may be more duties, students, but these are just a few to understand what exactly the supervisory level management does in a company. So once again, students, how can this come for the exam? Well, so far we have had questions which I can give an example. Raman is the foreman in the company. Identify the level of management. The answer, supervisory level management or operational level or lower level management. Also, you may get a question as to state the duties of the operational level management. What about the middle level management? You may get a question as Raman is the production manager, production in charge, a plant superintendent of the company. Which level is he working at? Answer, middle level management. You may get a question also to state the duties of the middle level management. So I hope that you are clear with the understanding of the levels of management. Like I said, authority is more at the top, and as we go lower, authority is lesser, responsibility is more in the organization. So we have top level management, middle level management, supervisory or operational level management. Moving on, students, to the next part, and that is the functions of management. So students, understand that there are 5 functions of management, all right. In the 5 functions of management, beginning from planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. This is what every management is constantly doing to achieve the goals in the company. Constantly we are planning, we create new plans, we organize, staff, direct and control our activities. So let us understand these functions. Take note, students, when you state the functions of management, the order is important. We begin always like it is numbered, planning first, then organizing, then staffing, directing and controlling. Okay. So what do you mean by planning, students? A plan. You are planning about your future, right? You are thinking about your future. What about a manager? A manager plans for his company. The management plans for the organization. So planning basically is a thinking process. It involves creatively thinking, okay, wherein you are trying to bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be in future. You are basically trying to forecast some plan of the future, where you want to be, what you want to do, how you want to do. These sort of questions are answered in planning. Management is constantly planning for the company, wherein they answer these queries as to what is the objective, how they will achieve it, what is to be done, and they will forecast about the target of the organization where it wants to lead itself to. Moving to the second aspect, students, of organizing. Organizing involves assembling all the resources in your organization, all resources, human and raw materials, establishing some reporting relations between them. You assign duties to people, you create departments in the organization based on the plan. So once you frame your plan, the next thing you do is always organize. After you organize, you create a basic structure. Basically, it is being more clearer what and how you are going to achieve that plan in detail. Moving to the third point or third function of management, staffing. Staffing is that function of management which is concerned with finding the right person for the right job. Now, is that important? Is it important to find the right person for the right job? Of course, yes. An example, if you want an accounts person, a person to do a job of accounts, who would you try to take? Would you take someone who is having some accounting background? Definitely. So it's very important to get the right kind of people to do the job. Not that other person who doesn't have accounting knowledge cannot do the job. I am not saying that. But it is very important, students, to have a background qualification, especially when you perform a particular work. It becomes much more easier and you become much more efficient at doing that particular work. Also keep in mind, students, it's very important to find the right person for the right job, because if that person is efficient and fulfills his task, then only he will be able to be effective in the organization, right? So, finding the right person is very important. A person makes or breaks the business. I say this because if the individual doesn't perform the task as desired, if he is not suited for the job, then he will be unproductive. It may reflect in his work. He may be unhappy, and that is not something what we want. So staffing is finding the right person for the right job in the organization. Moving on to directing. Directing function of management involves motivating, leading, supervising and communicating to your employees at all times. You want a plan to be accomplished. So as a manager, you need to put that plan into action by guiding the efforts of your employees, motivating them, okay, through your leadership skills, communicating to them. Very important in order to ensure that they perform their task well. And last of all, controlling function. Controlling function of management involves setting a standard and ensuring that you are going to measure that standard by the output. You are going to analyze whether you fulfill the performance standards. For example, you may set a standard of getting a distinction. What is controlling then? Then you need to control your activities such that you achieve that objective. At the end result, you need to check whether you got a distinction or you didn't. If you get a distinction, well and good. If you don't get a distinction, then you need to analyze what went wrong. For a company, translating this example, you may have output that you have been told to produce maybe 1,000 units for the week. At the end of the week, you need to see, that is called the set standard. At the end of the week, you need to examine whether you are able to achieve the production of 1,000 units or not. So you need to compare that performance. So these are the 5 functions of management, beginning from planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. Now keep in mind, students, that once you put a plan into action, you have to begin controlling that activity. Okay? How does this question come for the exam? A question may come as explain the functions of management. However, we will be learning all these concepts in detail later in the syllabus. So moving on to the next part, the next subtopic in this chapter. Well, I'd like to draw your attention to the screen, students. What can you see? Well, I hope you have identified it. Indeed, it is the extraordinary dance group. we unbeatable, champions of dance. They are known for their excellent coordination, isn't it? Very entertaining and wonderful to watch them perform. There are so many members in that dance group, students, but yet they are well coordinated. As you may have participated also in many activities, especially in a group, students, you will say, this dance group performed well, they coordinated well, or this group did not perform well, they didn't coordinate properly. So what is this coordination and what does this imply in management? We shall see hereforth. Now I would like you to take a look at this next slide. What do we see, students? We see here we have a group of boys who are playing basketball. A coach who is showing some strategy to the players. You also have a group of little children who are trying to perform this particular act. It is a game actually in which they want to move in this circular motion and ensure that they reach the finish line. Maybe someday you can try playing that game. What about this? You can see there are rafters, there are about 6 of them. Note, students, all of their effort should be in the same direction to go towards the same path, right? What I am trying to draw your attention to is that when you work in a group, you need coordination between all of you, failing which you will not be able to achieve your goal. This is just a game that I gave as an example for you to understand that coordination is required especially when we are working in a group. Do we need coordination in our management? And that is exactly what we want to learn from this next topic in this part of the chapter, which is coordination, the essence of management. So like we saw in the game, we have many players, don't we? In the basketball you may have played, football, cricket, there are so many players, but you need coordination between all of them. Then only you win the game. Even a particular player has, each and every individual's contribution has to be coordinated well for the success of that particular team. In management, what team are we referring to? It is the team of workers in our company, the different departments that exist in our company. There is planning department, purchase, production, there is a accounts department, HR department, R&D department, varied departments, number of people working. We need to coordinate the work of all these departments. We need to coordinate the functions of management. And that is why coordination also is considered the essence of management. Let us understand what is the meaning of coordination, students, from this next slide. So coordination is a process by which the manager synchronizes activities of different departments in the organization. It is also considered an orderly arrangement of individuals or group efforts to ensure unity of action in realization of common objective. This may be asked for 1 mark. It has come in the past as name the process by which the manager synchronizes the activities of different departments. What would be the answer? Coordination. Okay, students? So, having understood, coordination is like it is an invisible factor in the company. It's an invisible factor that is binding the work of all departments, work of all the people in the company. Now, if we don't have coordination just like the dance group, we must understand that if there is no coordination, then they are not effective. What about in management? Well, if we don't coordinate our work in the company, then in absence there will be chaos and confusion. There will be wasted efforts in the company. And this leads us to understand what is the features or the importance of management in the organization. So, coordination integrates group efforts, it ensures unity of action, it is a continuous process, it is considered as a pervasive function, it is the responsibility of all managers, and it is a deliberate function. So, how does coordination integrate group efforts? Integrate means another word, combine. You are combining the efforts of your individual employees. So many departments are there, so many employees are there. You want that everyone's work is moving in the direction of the organizational goals. What is that invisible factor that is going to bind their efforts? It is coordination. The third point says coordination is a continuous process. In an organization, students, once we accomplish one plan, we move on with the next plan, and therefore we need to perform coordination continuously in the organization. We begin with planning, then we go on with our organizing, staffing, directing and controlling, and that is why we say coordination is a continuous process. Once we accomplish one plan, the company will set up yet another plan and will move ahead. So, there is an ongoing need for coordination in the company. I will give you an example here at this point, students. Let us say in the company you get an order to manufacture 10,000 units of goods. What it would mean to coordinate? This is the target, 10,000 units. Now, purchase department will have to purchase raw materials to fulfill this 10,000 units of production. Then you need to coordinate and ensure that the sales and marketing are getting ready with their strategies to ensure the sale of those 10,000 units. The accounts department will be coordinating what work? The filing and maintaining accounts on the expenditure for the production of those 10,000 units. The staffing department or the HR will ensure that they have the required number of workers to perform this production of 10,000 units. So, what we are trying to understand is, as a manager and in management, we need to ensure that all the work is being directed towards that goal. It is an invisible force that is existing, but it is binding the efforts of all the departments towards achievement of that common goal, and it is an ongoing continuous process. Moving on to coordination is a pervasive function. This word pervasive means it is present at all levels of management. Pervasive means present at all levels of management. In the earlier part of this chapter, we did levels of management, 3 levels of management: top level, middle level and supervisory level management. So, do we have to coordinate work in all the levels of management? Yes, top level management has to coordinate work with the middle level management. Middle is coordinating work between departments and with the operational level. The operational level management is coordinating work within their level of workers and with the middle management. So, there is presence of coordination at all levels of management. It is the responsibility of all managers. Definitely, as a manager tomorrow, you may be in charge of an event. You will have to coordinate that that event is successful. How? By ensuring that everyone is performing their duties and their activities as you plan. You plan, there is a particular plan to be implemented, to be achieved. You want that event to be successful. You may be an event manager. Then you need to coordinate that particular event. You will deliberately sit down and ensure and make sure that each and every particular department is performing the task given to them, so that the goal can be achieved smoothly. Therefore, we say it is a deliberate function of management, where managers get the cooperation and the willing spirit of the employee. Your job as a manager is to ensure that the employees cooperate with you in order to achieve this coordination. So, with that we finish with the features of coordination. Now, before we reach to the closure of this chapter, students, I would like to draw your attention to a very, very interesting story of the Mumbai Dabbawalas. who coordinate their work so well that it is noteworthy to make a mention here. As you can see, students, these are the founders of the Dabbawala system in Mumbai. What I want you to take note is that with more than 99.9% accuracy, they have attracted the likes of Prince Charles, Sir Richard Branson and many other Six Sigma aspirants. Why are the Mumbai Dabbawalas so appreciated for their work? Well, what does the Dabbawala system do? Basically, they collect tiffins from the houses and ensure that these tiffins are supplied to the person who is working maybe at a very far end in Mumbai, in his office. So, the collection of the tiffin may take place at one point of place in a house, but the delivery of that tiffin is made to the person in his office. Now, this is generally a facility which they came up with to make sure that, it's a service where you can get your home cooked food at your workplace, right? Now, going to the achievements of the Dabbawalas, well, you'll be surprised to note that they are recorded in the time management. They are also in the Guinness World Book of Records. They are registered with Ripley's Believe It or Not. They were invited for the marriage ceremony of the Honorable Prince Charles. There are several documentaries which are created by the Dabbawalas called the Mumbai Dabbawalas, and these films were launched at different levels as well. Why are people so concerned about their work is because students in this organization, they do not have degree qualifications, yet the accuracy with which they work and make sure, I am not talking about delivering one dabba or two dabbas, they deliver more than thousands of dabbas on a daily basis across Mumbai. And Mumbai is a town where you need to travel by local trains, move from one end to the other. Yet they achieve this with proper timing and least amount of errors. So, you will also appreciate the technique or the system, students, that they adopt to coordinate this work. Just look at the intricate work that they do. This particular Dabbawala, look at the number of tiffins that he has collected from one point, and then it is moving from his hands to another two individuals who are moving that particular tiffins into the local train leading to a particular destination. If you look at that next image, you see that there is an exchange or the marking of the tiffins that they indulge in. They have created their own system of marking, but believe me, the number of errors, like I said, is the least. And look at the last slide, student. At the image there, we see how they are carrying all those tiffins, but they very well know which tiffin has to go to which employee. How are they able to do all this? How are they able to achieve this? With not much educational qualifications either. The only reason that they succeed in doing what they do is because of their coordination. And that gives us the highlight that coordination is very important in the success of an enterprise. So how does this question come for the board exam? Explain why coordination is considered the essence of management can come. These kind of questions have come in the past. So you can refer to them and learn these points. So students, with that, we come to the closure of this explanation on nature and significance of management. So I wish all of you stay safe, stay healthy and stay blessed. I believe, students, before we leave you with one message. Believe you can do it. Make sure that you continue to work hard, dream big, students, and believe in yourself. When you believe in yourself, you will work towards achieving great things in your life. So with that, students, I would like to conclude this chapter on nature and significance of management. Thank you.
Prudent Scholars, powered by Lupin Pharmaceuticals.